showtime. And here we go.
Welcome back to the Movie Geek Podcast, and this is a special review of Captain America Brave New World. It is the first of the 3 Marvel movies this year, and we have kind of changed directions. As if you listen to my 2 Marvel ones, if you have not go back and listen to those. Obviously there's no videos, but you can go back on the Spotify or even here on YouTube and listen to those, even if it is background noise, or you're actually really going to pay attention. But so Marvel this year has a bunch of different things coming out, but we are starting to make the climb toward Avengers Doomsday, where Robert Downey Jr. is back as Doom. Yes, not as Iron Man. If you lived under a rock or a cave for the last few years since Endgame, yes, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doom. But we'll skip all of that for right now. Captain America and the Brave New World. It is a brave new world. The Avengers are no more. There are still Avengers out there, but there is no group of Avengers, which will lead into Thunderbolts, which is coming up. And then eventually Avengers will start to form when we get to Doomsday. But right now, as it stands, there are no true Avengers. So, our president, played by Harrison Ford, Thunderbolt Ross, who is the 3rd Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU, well, 2nd one in the MCU, but in the Hulk universe. Sam Elliott played Thunderbolt Ross in the Hulk movie with Eric Bana, and then William Hurt took over when we got into the MCU for the Incredible Hulk, which was played by Edward Norton, and then obviously subsequently Mark Ruffalo played the Hulk. And now that William Hurt is no longer with us, Harrison Ford steps into that role. I thought he did a really good job. But obviously he becomes the Red Hulk. And it is explained through a series of events. So we have to go all the way back to, you guessed it, Incredible Hulk, which was one of the worst Marvel movies. It also set in motion that Iron Man was going to be the catalyst for the MCU, because Hulk was originally supposed to be the catalyst, but because it was poorly received, Iron Man was well received, they went with Iron Man. Great choice. So we are in the age of the Incredible Hulk. So there are some characters that come from that movie in this movie. And then a little later on, we get introduced to the worst Marvel movie of all time, Eternals. Because Eternals left the Celestial laying in the ocean. And it just disappears. I know we were doing all this stuff with the multiverse and everything else, but nobody wanted to touch on this. Well, here you are, Captain America, Brave New World, looking right at Eternals with the Celestial. So, Thunderbolt Ross is now president. He is trying to get Sam to be the leader of a new Avengers Corps. Now, whether that is the actual Thunderbolts themselves, which we'll get to in May, but we don't really get to know that because just everything around Captain America and Thunderbolt Ross was very touchy. So you've got that dynamic going on, but Thunderbolt Ross has a darker secret, and it was more toward the end of Incredible Hulk, where he was kind of exposed to the gamma. Subsequently, we go to Civil War, where William Hurt mentioned that he had a heart attack on the golf course. So in this movie, Thunderbolt Ross references why he takes pills because of the heart attack. But the truth is, the one person that knows the truth is who's trying to blackmail the president and set in motion World War III. And that guy, Samuel Stearns, played by Tim Blake Nelson. He's a little bit more grotesque in this one because he was exposed to the gamma, which made him a super brain. So he got some of the Hulk's brain power and kind of molded his head. It kind of looks like broccoli in this movie. It's kind of weird, but that's what happened to him after Incredible Hulk. So we don't touch upon Abominable because he was in Shang-Chi, but a character that kind of flew under the radar. But Samuel Stearns is the think tank for how Thunderbolt Ross gets into the White House. But now he kind of now gets into the White House and kind of forgets about him, and now Stearns is trying to set him up. But he also knows the secret in that he is exposed to gamma, and the pills that he's taking are not just heart pills, but they are to suppress the anger of Red Hulk. So he is trying to get exposure to the president. So there's back and forth as to that. There's also the question of what is in that celestial. So the countries of the world are wanting to mine vibranium out of the celestial, but they find it's antiantium, which is what Wolverine is made out of. So of course that is so much more valuable than the vibranium that the Wakandans had. But that's what they thought was in there, but they found a shard of antiantium that literally Wolverine is made out of. And what possibilities that this world could use that for. So again, now we've kind of put a bow on the two worst movies of the Marvel Universe, but now we're expanding the X-Men universe. So the X-Men universe will be here at some point, whether it be at the end of Phase 6 or the beginning of Phase 7, which we've seen Deadpool and Wolverine kind of reset the MCU and get away from the multiverse, but we are going to finish the multiverse when we get to Doomsday and Secret War. But the X-Men are coming. There are also a lot more mutants coming. Will they be in the Fantastic Four movie? We don't know. Still not really keen on the Fantastic Four movie, but we'll see. So, Captain America and Thunderbolt Ross are at each other's throats because, like, And there's the scene where you see it in the clip that you're no Steve Rogers. Yeah, Sam is not Steve Rogers. He doesn't want to be Steve Rogers. He is trying to be Sam, who is trying to be the best Captain America he can be. And so, you know, I do feel bad for um, for Anthony Mackie's Sam character having to take the mantle of Captain America from Chris Evans, Steve Rogers. Because as you saw in the series Captain America um, with Sebastian Stan, who does make an appearance in this movie as a senator, which will be brought up again when they get to Thunderbolts. So the one thing that I didn't understand is where Sharon Carter is, because the last time we saw her, she was on the run, uh, from the law or whatnot, but she also had ties to the White House and so on. So where she is in this movie, I have no idea. Maybe she'll show up again in Thunderbolts. I don't know, but I am kind of curious as to where she is. So this movie ends with um, Thunderbolt Ross finally turning into Red Hulk after Stearns turns himself in and unleashes the Beast. And then Captain America has to save Washington from being destroyed, figures out how to stop him long enough to get him to relax and become Thunderbolt Ross again, nearly killing both of them. The best cameo of them all was when Thunderbolt Ross was put in the raft. The raft is the underwater uh, jail that in Civil War, um, the Avengers who were arrested in Germany wound up in there. So he has wanted to have a relationship with his daughter, and Liv Tyler played the daughter, Betty, in the Incredible Hulk movie. She makes a cameo in this movie to talk to her dad and just sit down with him at the very end of the movie. So that was really cool that they were able to get Liv Tyler to reprise that role. And again, I thought Harrison Ford did a really good job as Thunderbolt Ross. I also think Anthony Mackie did a good job as Captain America. Is it a well-written film? Not really. There's a lot of little things in there that they could have probably left out. There could have been more character development with Sidewinder, played by Giancarlo. You know what? I'm going to butcher his name. Giancarlo Esposito. Um, you know me. I always butcher names. But Sidewinder. Um, again, a little bit more character development. He just seemed to be a mercenary. Could have explained a little bit more on that. And maybe figured out where Stearns really fit in. Again, there's so much there. But what this film does, and I know it's not a good film, it's really not a bad film either. Like, it is setting up for the rest of this year and what is to come, because you've got Thunderbolts coming next, so you've got that lead in, you've got your two worst films tied up in a bow. We don't need to go back and do Eternals 2, which they're not going to do. And we really don't need to revisit Incredible Hulk, although they are thinking about doing a Hulk standalone movie Planet Hulk or something to that effect, which would be amazing. Or maybe even a Hulk Wolverine movie, as we saw from the variants of Wolverine. So who knows? But for what this movie does for the MCU going forward, it fits. So on my rating system, as we know, 2 thumbs down is like a 0. You know, 1 thumbs down, then even, and then 1 thumbs up and 2 thumbs up. I give this a 1 thumbs up. And the reason why I do is because it's not perfect and it's not bad. What it does is this movie sets up what's coming. So that's why I think it's worth a watch if you are a Marvel fan. If you are not, maybe I would say an even, which, no thumbs up, no thumbs down. It may not be your cup of tea. Who knows? But I think for what the movie was made for, it is a stepping stone. And we will wait and see what Thunderbolts is in May. And then we'll see what Fantastic Four brings, which I don't really have high hopes for, but again, my feeling is we've done Fantastic Four enough. Obviously, this is MCU version, and we get to see Galactus. So there is that, hesitation where I'm like, I don't know, but yay for Galactus. So, all right, and that is it. I hope that helps you out in wanting to see it. If you've already seen it, drop comments if you feel I missed anything, or you have theories about things, or just in general, hey, I'd like the movie. Yeah, that movie sucked. Whatever you need. So, thank you all for watching this, and look out for a lot more content coming up. I've got a Heart Eyes one dropping soon. I'm going to have a little guest on that one, and I'm trying to line up guests for this year, so I'm hoping that we will have some more, and I will have some more reviews, but we'll get back into news and trailer drops and that sort of thing as well as we get rolling here in season 2. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys at the movie.
You like that, baby? Let him know where I came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.